Hi everyone, my name is Hafiz Kadir. You can call me Riz. I'm an RE Week counselor and liaise for two RE network forums as well. Also, I'm the founder and strategist at Training Ready Arena TRA. Today, I have the pleasure and honor to have RE CEO Sarah McCann-Bartlett with me on Zoom. Welcome and thank you very much, Sarah, for joining me this afternoon. I'm very appreciative of that.
Riz, I'm delighted to be here. Nice to see you.
Thank you very much. With permission from Sarah, I would like to provide some information on Sarah's career highlights and also about her joining at RE. Sarah is the Chief Executive Officer, CEO, and Managing Director of the Australian HR Institute. She has extensive global experience in membership and trade bodies and has held senior roles across various sectors in Australia, the UK, and the USA. Sarah has recently moved from the UK, where she had been the CEO of the British Constructional Steelwork Association. It is known as BCSA. Sarah joined RE as a CEO this year in the month of February. And as per my understanding, since her joining in February 2020, Sarah been very busy in her new role. I think I can jot down three significant reasons for that. One, as being on a new job, a completely different environment compared to her last role. Two, the issue of pandemic, COVID-19. Three, a transformation at RE. Sarah is leading a transformation at RE, and amazingly, she has started it within 3 months into her new role. Before we begin our discussion today on the topic future workforce management and the employees management role, let's begin with a small request to Sarah. Sarah, can you please tell us briefly a little bit about yourself, your aspirations regarding RE and the transformation at RE? Also, related to that, why did you feel that RE needed a transformation?
Well, I think the first thing is that we should never waste a crisis. Of course, we would have preferred that the pandemic didn't happen at all, but given that we've had to already go through rapid change, work like other businesses, working from home, digitizing all of our products and services, and we did it so quickly. We produced new products and services, and the time to market was much faster than RE has ever experienced before. Again, that's been replicated across many, many businesses. So we started thinking, well, what's the external environment going to be like in the future? And we've, like other people, decided and realized that there's going to be rapid change. Our customers, our members, are going to be wanting different things delivered in different ways. And we also saw the benefits of things like being able to run events across Australia via a digital platform. So we said, well, let's not actually waste this momentum. Let's actually make sure that RE is ready for the future, the change in the workplace that we're talking about today, digitization, but also let's take the opportunity to make RE even more dynamic and meet members' needs for the future even more. So that's really what underpins the transformation.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Sarah, for sharing this with us. For the listeners, though predominantly today's session is more like a discussion, I wish to have Sarah's views regarding the future workforce, HR role, and its evolution to assume the responsibility of the future workforce. So here is my first question to Sarah. Sarah, what is your vision of the future workforce concerning Australia and global workforce?
Well, like most people, I see the workplace of the future being digitized through automation, robotics, and artificial intelligence, and other digital advances that we don't even know about yet. Of course, this is going to happen across every level of a business, across sectors, and even across every aspect of our own lives. Even AI itself is developing rapidly. You know, at the moment, we all use GPS in a car, but in a few years, potentially, we'll be using self-driving cars. So that's progression that we can already see and feel. Also in the past, digitization and these sorts of advances have been kept quite separate, but they're now converging. So at the moment, Netflix recognizes who we are when we log in and remembers our selections, but doesn't actually know our faces or our responses yet. It will soon. So our selection in the future on Netflix might be driven by how distracted we were in the room. Were we chatting to our family, or were we looking at our phones? So then it might make the assumption that we were bored and change our selections. Another example of that could be that we might have a robot working on a manufacturing production line now, but it has to be programmed, or a design has to be uploaded in order for that robot to know what to do. Now that the robot might have AI capabilities, what it might be able to do is automatically learn and adjust how it works depending on different factors. Say the results of QA testing as the product goes down the production line. In our own area of HR and learning and development, I've been thinking a lot recently about the future of learning. And bear with me for a minute, I've imagined online learning myself that doesn't feel like on-demand learning. So you'd log into your classroom wherever you wanted, whenever you wanted. Your lecturer would be standing there just like you are in front of me, Riz, and welcome me verbally by name. A fellow student would chat to me as I waited for my class to start, and there'd be interaction and discussion with students and the lecturer replying to my comments or my questions. But I would be the only human in the room. The rest of the room, the virtual room, would be bots. Now, some people might say that might never happen, but others would say, actually, my thinking's already behind the times. And actually, I think the latter is more likely. What I do think, though, is that a lot of people are expecting a workplace where AI supports and extends our own human abilities by processing, analysing and evaluating all the data that they're collecting, allowing us people to spend more time engaged in high-level thinking, problem solving, creativity, relationship building and decision making. And I heard somebody say the other day, a lot of the time we're asking, what is it that we can automate? And what they said was that actually that's the wrong question. The question should be, what work should stay human? And I like that. It's a different viewpoint of it.
Thank you very much. That's exciting. I'm glad I asked you this question. Your elaboration is quite motivational as well, and interesting too. And with regards to the second question, I would like to say a few words. Sarah, you know, these days we are experiencing a higher influx of AI-enabled virtual assistants known as VAs, digital workforce, and robots in workplaces where they work alongside human beings. In that context, do you think the hybrid workforce is the future of the workforce?
I don't know if you realize that when I was speaking before, I used the term workplace, not workforce. Because the one thing I don't want to happen, or don't want to think is going to happen, is the dehumanizing of the workplace and our employees. So yes, I completely agree with you that we're going to have, or we already have, virtual assistants, robots, but I actually don't see them as the workforce itself. I see the people as the workforce, and employees as the workforce. I see this as digital enablement, digital technologies, rather than the workforce. So I think what we're going to have to just change it around a little bit is the hybrid workplace rather than the hybrid workforce. Now, a lot of people disagree with me on this, and they're using the terminology hybrid workforce, but personally, I actually don't like it. So yes, they're going to be essential and inevitable, but to me, what's also essential is that we continue to develop and nurture our people as people. And I think, you know, this is really important because that relationship between humans and technology is mutually supportive. But people are still going to be essential to how this digitized work is conceptualized and managed. And also because the new essential skills for the future won't be able to be done by IT or by technology. You know, being creative and innovative, having emotional intelligence, curiosity, critical thinking, being persuasive, and being a leader.
Oh, that's amazing. And also your point of view is really a new perspective for many, probably for many people will be. And the majority of the people, they will learn to agree to disagree because everybody can have different point of view. But this one is quite interesting for me because thinking this technology just as a technology and keeping the human factors separate is a different perspective, and I appreciate yours one. However, the future seems to be very exciting, and from your answer, it appears that it will be quite interesting to observe these futuristic changes. Thanks, Sarah. Sarah, what is your opinion regarding how HR professionals should or will perceive the role of managing again a hybrid workforce or hybrid workplace?
Well, I think there are definitely going to be some changes, but a lot of those changes are going to be extensions of what HR capability is at the moment. So it's going to be building on a lot of those capabilities rather than developing totally new capabilities. So I've already said that the question that we're asking now is what can we automate or what can be done by AI, or flipping it around, what needs to stay human in the future. But either way, that's a form of strategic workforce planning and future job design, both of which are things we expect HR practitioners to already be very well versed in and have high level capabilities in. But the difference is it's looking at technology to understand what our human workforce may or may not be doing in the future and preparing for that. So this will require, wait for it, it becomes quite circular, AI to help look at the global forces and emerging technologies to see what jobs could remain human. But it will also require some very human creative thinking, skepticism about the results and the thinking around that, consultation and decision making. So you've got the AI doing the big data analysis, and you have HR doing the very human side of that, and that includes this critical thinking and creative thinking and skepticism. The other thing is that HR is also going to have to be able to manage and resolve things like task ambiguity between AI and employees. Again, a capability that actually HR has today, ensuring role clarity. Again, something we expect HR to be really good at. But now they're going to actually need to take that further to understand the tasks and the work that the AI or the robot performs into account. So again, an extension of an existing capability. HR is also going to be taking a role within the organisation to look much more closely at issues like privacy, governance, oversight, and contribute to the bigger organization-wide discussion, not just focus on the discussion in relation to employees, which is probably where HR is sitting now. The other thing is that HR is also going to have to treat technology advances a bit like how they manage organizational change at the moment. Because just as employees might be stressed about organizational change and the rapid advances in change, they're probably going to be stressed from rapid advances in technology or confused about their role in the future. They may have a hidden or not so hidden bias against AI, just as they do sometimes push against change in the organization. So HR is going to have to help employees manage and embrace this different kind of change, a technological change. Also, HR's role in capability development through the organization is going to remain, but be different. First, everybody's going to have to be digitally capable, and very, very significant uplift in that capability. But again, the skills I spoke about before are also going to be need to be nurtured and developed. Critical thinking, curiosity, persuasion, emotional intelligence. So, you know, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a very enhanced HR role with certain capabilities, taking the advances in technology and AI into account, perhaps using that technology and AI to help them as well, but really capability uplift.
Incredible, perfect. I think HR professionals must be thinking about how to incorporate your ideas into their goals and plan to achieve them. Thanks very much. The next question, Sarah. Do you think the boundaries among different management domains are getting blurred concerning future workplaces and various management roles?
It's a really interesting question.
Thanks.
I think that what we're going to see in workplaces is much more partnerships in terms of the different management domains. So I think the way that management teams and executive teams and boards are going to have to work together is going to be much more partnering style, even more than we see today. So some of the key partnerships that I'm envisaging are HR and IT, for example. They're going to have to be planning together, thinking creatively together, visioning together, and managing the change together. It's not going to be HR's role exclusively. It's not going to be IT's role exclusively. It's going to be a partnership. HR and legal, ethics, governance, transparency. You know, what are we doing with your data, both from internal data, employee data, but also customer data, and data that we're picking from the web. So I think that's going to be another key partnership. And there's no doubt that HR's role is going to be elevated in this highly digitized world.
Oh, very thought-provoking. And I think across the globe, many management organizations must be interested in listening to your ideas and happy to have such takeaways. Thanks for that. And the next question is, do you think the HR role needs to evolve or expand to encompass the management of a hybrid workforce, which means like digital workforce working alongside human beings, and assume this responsibility rather than leaving the digital workforce, robots and VAs management to IT people?
Can I say yes or no? Yes and no.
Oh, it's entirely up to you.
And the reason I'm saying yes and no is because, again, I'm seeing this partnership between HR and IT. So it's going to be a shared responsibility. And again, they're going to have to work together to balance the human resources and the digital resources needed. So definitely HR is going to need new skills, new partnering, a different way of thinking, but then so is IT, and they're going to bounce off each other or work together in order to develop this partnership that has this new ability.
Thank you very much. It's your point of view, so I appreciate and I completely comprehend that one, and I respect your point of view. And that is an interesting perspective as well, because I mean, you elaborated it very well in the previous question and in this question again. I appreciate your point of view, and certainly whatever you are saying has evidence, and whatever is happening during these days as well. And the next question is, with regards to AHRI certification APC, what is your idea about this being a benchmark in the HR profession? And also, is AHRI planning to update or working towards updating the APC curriculum regarding the new developments in the workforce and workplaces?
Well, first of all, my response is that yes, definitely AHRI certification is the benchmark in the Australian HR profession. There's no doubt about that. And certification ensures and demonstrates not only skills, but competencies and the application of those skills and competencies actually in the workplace. Is AHRI planning to update the curriculum to reflect some of the discussions that we've had today? The answer is yes, absolutely. We will take it at a reasonable pace. There's no point taking some of those really forward-looking competencies and embedding them at the moment, but yes, absolutely. And that applies to all of our learning and development tools. The model of excellence, which is the Australian HR competency framework that belongs to AHRI. So yes, they're definitely going to have to be updated and kept as living tools and benchmarks.
Cheers. Great update. I'm glad to listen to all these improvements, and I think credit goes to you and the team working under your leadership. As a last question, Sarah, any other thoughts surrounding future workplaces and our mindset towards the adoption of the digitalization at workplaces?
I'm going to answer this question by not answering this question. I actually think the thing that we really need to be thinking about is not about so much about digitization, but what that actually means for employees and people, and particularly what that means for our future skills. So what we're actually going to have to do is nurture those future skills, and we can start doing that now. Around, again, agility, adaptability, creativity, emotional intelligence. So we need to be using that side of our brain so that we're ready when in the future we have less of the data analytics and our day-to-day process work to do, because that's going to be digitized, and we can then come in and actually enhance AI digitization by using the other side of our brain.
Wonderful, very well balanced arguments, in fact, and also evidence-based clues to the concept. Thanks for answering this question, because you answered the question in a actually slightly different way, but still it answers the main question. Thank you so much, Sarah, for your valuable time and precious thoughts and input. I much appreciate that. I think the discussion has been tremendously enriched and informative. and inspiring to think more openly and adapt to new functional technologies in the future workforce and workplaces. For the audience, any questions or comments, please use the contact details in front of you on your screen. And at the very end, I would like to thank Sarah again.
It's an absolute pleasure. It's always nice to see you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Thanks a lot. Thank you, and have a great day. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, you too.
Cheers. Bye now.